Wealth inequality in the United States is reaching record highs, and there is a broad consensus that such a skewed distribution of wealth is both unfair and inefficient. Sidestepping the policies that might ease such inequality for the moment, let's simply consider what Americans think about wealth and what a more just distribution might look like. This is the question posed by the research of Michael Norton and Dan Ariely. They presented a nationally representative sample of Americans with 3 different examples of wealth distribution. The first assumed that each quintile, or each fifth of the population, claimed an equal share of wealth, a scenario clear to all respondents of perfect equality. The second example charted the actual distribution in a country that comes close to that ideal, with the richest fifth claiming about 1/3 of national wealth and the remainder fairly evenly distributed. The setting, not revealed to the respondents, is Sweden. The third example charts a starkly unequal distribution, in which the richest fifth claim nearly 85% of all wealth, and the next richest claim 11%, and the shares of the bottom 2 quintiles are not even visible on the chart. This setting, again not revealed to participants, is the United States. Respondents were then asked to choose between paired examples. Which of these societies would you like to live in? Faced with a choice between perfect equality and the real-world example of Sweden, a slim majority, 51%, chose Sweden. Between perfect equality and the US example, over 3/4, 77%, chose perfect equality. And faced with a choice between 2 real-world examples, an overwhelming 92% chose Sweden, a preference that held across income groups and partisan lines. Finally, the researchers asked respondents for a more direct assessment of the American setting. First, they invited respondents to construct an ideal distribution of wealth, assigning percentage shares of wealth to each income group. And the composite response looks a lot like Sweden, with a moderately larger share for the upper quintiles, but relatively equal distribution beyond that. Next, they asked respondents to estimate as best they could what the real distribution of wealth in the United States looked like. And the result is telling. The share of the richest fifth pushes near 60%, and estimates decline with each succeeding group, the 4th and 5th quintile together claiming about 10% of the nation's wealth. The punchline, of course, is this. Americans understand their society to be less equal in its distribution of rewards than it should be, but they also dramatically underestimate just how stark that inequality is. The richest fifth claiming almost 85% of the wealth, and the poorest fifth, in a slice too small to register on the graph, claiming 1/10 of 1%.